Woohoo! Okay, let's get back to what we were doing with this wee little beastie. All right, so far we have got the neck is attached to the body of the instrument. There you go. That's the assembly pretty much complete. And theoretically, you can just play it like this. But we are going to do a couple of things. First thing we're going to do is going to put some groovy little sound holes in this wee beast. Actually, let's use a couple of these. I got these from CB Giddy. CBGiddy.com. I get my book from CBGiddy.com. Okay, sorry. You can tell I'm in a mood. Just check the gauge. Let's do 8mm. One. Two. Alright, so I got super glue. One baby sound hole. Two baby sound holes. Isn't that pretty? Because the neck is going to be held on with glue. One. Two. Down the side. Down the side. 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 There we go. Looking good. Get our little screws back into play now. So those little tiny wood screws that come extra with the with your box corners, I always keep them and I always use them as screws to hold the corners down. There's another one. And no, I'm not pre-drilling. There. And lucky last. Another little one. Lucky little last one. Just here. Alright. Next thing I'm going to do is going to use my there we go. I saved those because I might be able to use those for something else. There we go. 1, 2, 6 of these. I'm knocking the end off the rivets is what I'm doing. There we go. And come on over here. So what I'm doing down there. I'm pushing these rivets in. So that the strings don't bite into the timber there. Alright, we're doing the machine heads now. It's all been pre-drilled. We're using these vintage style machine heads from CB Giddy. Open gear guitar tuners, they're called. Alright, so now this little sucker. Now I haven't put his volume control on yet. Let's put you there. So I haven't got the volume control knob on there. Oh, there we go. Keep it simple. Ta-da! There it is there. All right, we're going to put some box corners on in a minute too. But before I do that, I just want to make sure two things. All right, I'm going to show you how I string this up. Now, this bridge is actually not, well, it's mildly, but it's not really bolted into the through neck. Okay, so it'll hold in place, but what I'm going to do is actually, this is a combination of a traditional style guitar and a modern style. Trad modern, we'll call it. All right, I'm going to put our string through. There we go. So it pulls from the back through just like a normal electric style. I'm going to come all the way to the top string, and I'm going to go up and around. I'm going to reverse wind this one. So the reason for that is that it's got mostly straight string pull. All right, here we go. Go through the back. Now, as I said, there's very little pressure being put on this bridge. The strings are simply passing through the back, up through the saddle, over the saddle, over the nut, and direct. Now again, I think I'm going to come over backwards for straight string pull. I do try and get straight string pull as much as I can. Now I'm going to pop a couple of screws in, so I'm going to get my number 2. And we're going to pull that one down, and I think we're going to pull this one down as well. I might pull this one down here. There, and I'm going to push this one here. All right, that's it there, that's it there. Ready to go. Here we are. There. And there. All right, beautiful people. All right, so here we go. We've got our guitar finished. Take the jack out. We have our guitar finished, and we need to get it tuned up, right? So one of the things we do, I'll bring you over here so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna drop you down. Dropping you down here. There you go. All right. Now, if my gut gets in the way, my stomach apologizes. That's right. Just kidding. All right, here we go. You can see the tuner up the end up here. Don't know if you can actually see it, but you can see it's green, right? Goes green. All right, it's set to chromatic, and right now it's telling me I'm on G, D. You see it goes green. And G again, high G. So I've used a 40, 30, 20 set of strings from Killer Strings. Okay, these are the strings that I've actually used, Killer Strings. And what we've got now here is an adjustable bridge. Now, an adjustable bridge will do a couple of things for you. The very first thing it'll do is it'll raise and lower the strings with the use of little grub screws. All right, so let's have a little look at that bridge while you're here. All right, so here we go. Let's check out these grub screws. Now, the grub screws, I'm getting kind of close here, so I need to see what I'm doing. Now, the grub screws are basically these little tiny screws at the top. I'll try and do that there. At the top of the saddles, there's 1, 2 grub screws in each bridge saddle. All right. And the saddle is held onto the base plate and the back with a screw and a spring. The spring pushes the saddle forward and just kind of keeps things in control a little bit. Now, normally what you'll do with a bridge like this is that this will be bolted onto a whole heap of timber underneath, and the strings will come through and they'll flush up against the back of the bridge here, right? I've done things a little differently because I'm using a stop tail at the back. So the strings coming through from the back, through the back of the bridge, up over. That increases the string tension. I wanted it to be slightly more tense or slightly firmer feeling strings on this guitar because it's a 24-inch guitar, 24-inch scale length. So having them a little bit longer, I believe, just gives them a little bit more, I don't know, they're a bit stiffer. And I kind of like that myself in a guitar. Now, as I tune the guitar up, as you can see up the top up there again, G, you can tell, D, and you see that's still green. Watch this. Now, what I need to do now is I'm going to press down on the low G. I press down here. You see that? Look at that. It's on G. So I know that the intonation on that string is good. All right? It's just on. Okay, D. There it is. Look at that. D. And G, the high G. So this is the one I need to do a little bit of work on. So I'm just going to press that again, just make sure I'm nicely in tune there. It's on G. It is the very, there it is. It was just the very tiniest bit flat. I've just sharpened it up. There it is now. It's sitting nicely. I'm going to press down here at the 12th fret. There it is. I'm really happy with that. So now, here's the thing, and a lot of people don't actually know this on these guitars, okay? Your bridge saddle, your intonation, okay, it's not just about pulling. Okay, let me explain this. If your string is too long, right, and when you do the intonation at the 12th fret, it'll come out flat because the string's too long, okay? If it's too sharp, so in other words, if it goes past that middle pointer on your tuner and it plays sharp, it means that your bridge saddle is too far forward. Now the idea is to find that nice balance between too far back, too far forward, find just the sweet spot there, okay? Now here's the problem. And a lot of people, I've noticed a lot of people are struggling, a lot of people are saying, it won't get into intonation. I can tune it up at the nut, but it won't intonate properly. Yeah, lift you up now. It won't intonate properly at the 12th fret, no matter what I do. All right, and here's the answer to your question. Well, it's the possible answer to your question, and here it is. Your action is too high. Okay, so here's the deal. Your action is too high. Okay, now when you stretch a string, have a listen to the string. Here's the 12th fret. I'm just going to play the G. Now if I press that and I stretch it sideways, watch what happens to the note. It goes sharp. Right. Do it again. G. Goes sharp. Okay, when I stretch it, see how I'm stretching it sideways, okay? If your bridge saddle is set too high and your string is too far off the fretboard, there's always, when you press down on the string onto the fret, you are stretching the string even a tiny bit. Even a guitar like an Ibanez, which might be set at the most ridiculously low level. And we know with Cigar Box guitars, we tend to like them to be a little more on the slightly medium string height side, because we do like to play slide. And we know that if the strings are too low, you get that click-clack train effect with you know, of the... I'm not touching the strings, but you get the point of a slide whacking all over your strings. So a lot of new builders, a lot of builders who don't necessarily play a lot of guitar might find that they're having this problem. Okay, and even with builders who are having a problem, but they're not necessarily familiar with setting up a standard guitar. This is what we're talking about. Okay, so the reason you've got these grub screws is basically to raise the string height and lower the string height at the saddle, at the bridge. Okay, and the idea is basically as well up here is that you want your strings to be at an optimum height. You need your nut has to be at an optimum height so that when you press on the G here, it goes to a nice neat G sharp and not halfway between G sharp and A. So that's the same problem you're going to find with intonation. If your nut is too high and you're pressing down, you're stretching the string. So the string goes sharp before it hits the fret, that first fret, and even the second fret, and it can sound quite out of tune. The other thing is it can be quite painful to play because you're having to press down a long way and you'll end up with finger fatigue. Now, the nut on my guitar here, this one that I've just built, is still just a tiny bit high. So I'm actually going to file it down just a little tiny bit more. Because remember, with a 0 fret, technically, when you are playing a 0 fret, you don't actually need to use a jumbo fret at the 0 fret. Theoretically, your fret should just be the same size as all of your other frets. Because when I press down on this fret, it's not buzzing. So that's why your fret back here, or your 0 fret, or your nut, shouldn't be much higher at all than your first fret. Okay? Let's get back to intonation at the 12th. If your bridge is set too high, okay, what's going to happen is as you press down on the string, it's going to stretch the string. So no matter what finagling you do here, going forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards, and no matter how far you bring this bridge saddle back, even to the point where you run it right up against this, or you decide you're going to have to move the bridge back even further, because I've seen that happen, and I'm going to honestly tell you, when I first started building, I tried doing that too to solve the problem. It doesn't solve the problem because you're still stretching the string to press it down onto that 12th fret, which is going to make the string go sharp. Because that's what happens when you stretch a string. You're making the string go sharp when you actually stretch a string on the fret. I hope that's helped. Any questions, please don't hesitate to put some questions down in the comments section. If you have any other questions as well, please don't hesitate to put the questions up on the group. There's a lot of fantastic people up on the group who are more than willing and more than happy to help you. Absolutely, easy peasy, man. So look, get out there, go and build yourself a guitar. I hope you've enjoyed the series of me putting this one together. I really do. I'm going to finish this off now with a couple of strap buttons for the guitar, and I'll probably pop a strap button. I think maybe even on the rise here, because I'm not particularly worried about that, and on there just for balance. It balances quite nicely actually. And the other thing is that I'm going to put on some nice box corners as well. So I've got some nice brass box corners. So this show has been brought to you by CB Giddy and by Killer Strings. Please jump on, use the affiliate link if you need to. Otherwise, the best way to help me promote this show, promote the Cigar Box Guitar Builder YouTube channel, podcast, and group is very simply, please just tell your friends about it, okay? Big thanks from Adam here at Birdwood Guitars and birdwoodguitars.com. Take it easy, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks.